Hello, everyone, and happy Sunday. I hope everyone is having a good day, and I hope everyone had a good week. Today, I'm going to go over what I've done, or at least the lack thereof of what I've done. So, I didn't record all my times like I should have, even though on here, you might be able to see it only says registered for Monday's work. I did not register Tuesdays and Wednesdays time. I don't know why, but it's in here, and we're about to go over that. I did not do anything Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, and I'm not doing anything today. So this is why I'm a failure at life. But we're going to go over a couple things, and even though excuses are not acceptable, they are very real. And the reason why I did not continue as much as I should have done this week is because the Thursday, my work, we had like a Halloween thing, so we could do Halloween stuff, so I was preoccupied with that. And then Friday, I was exhausted from Halloween stuff. And then yesterday, I was lazy. Today, I'm going to be lazy too. I'm not going to lie. I did register, though, about 3.5 hours. I think that's what I did last time. So that's about my study time for the week, is about 3.5 hours, if I remember correctly. Let me see. I think it was. I don't know why I'm going back all over here because I know pretty much it was. Alright, so I registered. Yeah, 3.8, 2.3 hours. So that's about what I did for the 8 weeks one, because the first day I did register it, I did about an hour and 23 minutes on Monday and an hour and 5 minutes a Monday of art, Japanese and then art. And then Tuesday I did some more stuff. I don't think I did as much the Japanese studies, but I did do the art stuff. I did sit down and do the full class time on Wednesday. Well, not full, I did an hour of it. So I should have written it down, but I really did not do it. So I did about the same amount as you'll see here when I through my assignments. So Mondays, I did the next page of my katakana out of my workbook, the Genki workbook. I did 13 minutes of Duolingo, 10 minutes of my alphabet app, and then 45 minutes of ChatGPT, where I was running in circles trying to figure out the ga and wa usage for particles, which I'm going to go over. I think I kind of got it. There's still some exceptions I'm not quite 100% confident on, but I'm like maybe 75, 80% there in the understanding of those, which we'll go over here. Duo lessons are over on this page. I am so sorry for the angle on here. But that's what I did. My Duolingo lessons, I wrote them down. My hiragana practices out of my language app, and then the katakana ones. I don't actually know if I did them. I didn't mark it down. If I did, I did not mark it down. And then I started on this page with the ChatGPT set basic sentence structure. Excuse me. I wrote down some of the assignments. I had to generate me some practice sets. Some of them, obviously, I corrected myself, trying to write them down, figure it out. So I'm going to revisit this later on, go back into doing that. So I did a couple pages. I did more pages than I thought. I was actually quite happy with that. So at least 2 pages of working stuff, writing out the Japanese characters, practice, writing practice. And then I did some more face sketches. 30 minutes. I think I did these while I was on my break at work, and then I did a couple more gesture ones. Yeah, when I got home, I think. Yeah, because I was home. There's no way I was doing this kind of stuff. So I was at home. So I did these, and then I did my doodle page. So the first day, I actually did everything bare minimum of what I was supposed to do. 1 page of doodles, 1 page of faces, 1 page of gestures, and then doing my other assignments, which was not a bad day. And that all in itself was, like I said, about an hour. 3 hours total of all of it. So I was happy with that day. If I can just keep this pattern up throughout the rest of the year, I will be very happy with myself. So we'll try to do that. Although next week it's not going to happen because my work, I'm pretty much working 40 hours all week, and I'll be driving 2 hours away from my main job to go help another store with what some of the things I have to do over there on the last of the week, and that's going to be exhausting. And then we have our inventory in our store going on, and it's a lot. So I don't even know if I'm going to get anything done, but I don't know. Maybe I'll do some doodle pages or not. But I'm not looking forward to next week doing anything, to be honest. So we'll see. the next, anyways, here's Tuesday's work. I did my next page out of my Genki workbook, the katakana. I need to step up my game on that. I need to finish up these katakana pages so I can get back to the workbook. Then I did my alphabet, hiragana, and katakanas, and I think that's pretty much all I did. Excuse me, out of those. So that's all I did for Japanese studies, which is Tuesdays are my Japanese study days, so I should have been done more on that. But Monday I did, yeah. And then I did a couple face expressions, 25 minutes of more expressions. So I'm not disappointed that way. And that was all I did on Tuesday. Wednesday, you can see the amount of effort I put into my page, my starting Wednesday page. Look at that, it's beautiful. I've got duo 3 minutes, art 1 hour of perspective poses, doodles, and my how to do manga reading, which I did do that. So I did 3 minutes of Duolingo and 1 hour of art. So, yeesh. So, but I actually might have done a little bit more then if I did these ones. So I did 25 minutes. No, it was about the same. I'm not going to tell I did more. I'll calculate it. But I did my poses and sketches out of my how to do manga workbook. I figured I'd pick that back up because I stopped at hairstyles and heads. So I figured, well, now I'm getting to gestures. Let's see what the book has to say about that. And there was some information in there that was kind of useful. I don't think I'll use these as much. I'll still use the guidelines like I do, but I don't know. I think I'm a little bit past this, or I've already developed a way that is a little different than this. But I will still take information that it says into consideration, and I'll reference it anytime I have a difficult spot. Places that always have difficulty is the shoulders on both girls and guys, and the hips on guys are the big issues I have. So I really need to work on those. Then I did a gesture drawing from the book, and then I went to line of action and did some poses, some people poses. And then I did a couple perspective ones. I found out they did perspective drawings in there, and I thought that was kind of cool. So I did a couple of those. They're not great by any means. It was the first time I found that out. And I'm just tell you, still lifes and looking up and down, looking up at photos and references, they give me a headache. So I can't do it for too long. So the fact that I was able to push for an hour as long as I did, I was impressed with myself in that way. So I am going to give myself credit. I am proud of myself for doing that. What I think I need to do though is if I'm going to be adding perspectives and heads in different drawings, so I'm looking for references, I might do one section like heads and drawing, and then just do a doodle page, and then do the perspectives, and then when I get a headache, do the doodle page, and then that might actually help out a little bit. I didn't get anything inspiring out of my random doodles, so unfortunately I didn't get too much. I was a little disappointed with that, but I still did them. This was Wednesday, and then Thursday was the day that my job, we did the Halloween thing, and I didn't do anything. And then Friday, I was too tired, like I said. Saturday, I didn't do anything, and today I probably won't do anything. I might do some Duolingo lessons and my katakana and kanji apps. I'm not gonna write anything down, my mistakes this time, though writing down has helped. I'm just going to just go over the review just so I can kind of keep it up in my brain. So I'm going to do that. But nothing else is going to be done this week. And the biggest issue, I know this is an excuse, but my schedules apparently are very, very delicate right now. If I think about something like I really don't want to go to this other store, it's 2 hours out. It's at a place that, I used to go there when I was dating my ex, and it just kind of brings back memories of that time, and they weren't really the best memories, how it works out. And so I'm kind of trying to deal with that and not think about it. Just want it to be done with, and unfortunately it's not like it's something that's going to be done at the beginning of the week and I can just, yay, let's go and do everything. It's literally this whole thing has been dragging out since we've been asked to go, and it's going to be dragging out right up until the very end of the week. So, and it's just been very hard, heavy on my mind lately trying to get through it. So I don't think I'm going to do anything too much for next week, but I will try to still do Duolingo and my app. I get car sickness very easily, but if I can do Duolingo and my app on the car ride there and back, because I'm going to be going with my manager, then maybe I can get some time in there, keep me distracted so I won't be bothering her. Anyways, we'll go from there. But until then, right now, this is what we're dealing with. There are a couple things that new goals I did come up with I want to write down. And that is, and I'll need to continue these goals, I don't think I did those ones, but I'm just going to scribble them here and then correct it later because I got to write these down. The first goal, GOAL, learn to write, for for the rest of the semester, plan out chapter 1 of Genki work. Work, W-O-R-K, workbook, and text. So I want to start making more of an effort to work on all the way through chapter 1 of my workbook and my textbook through the Genki books. That's going to be a big one. And so it gives me a guideline to walk on because I've been kind of doing a lot of this stuff like willy-nilly, like, oh, I guess I could do this, oh, I guess I did that, but I lose track of my scheduling and my goals because if I get down and I have to figure out what I'm doing in the moment, and it's like, oh, I waste all that time I just don't want to be trying to figure out in the moment. So today I'm going to sit down and just plan out what I've got left for the first chapters. I don't think it's probably about halfway there, probably a little over halfway there. But if it is halfway there, and I'm done before that, since I'm already technically in the 9th week in, I'm not going to try and do another chapter because I don't think I'm just going to take it really seriously until the next semester. So I'm just going to do the first chapter and then going off of what I may or may not have learned, I'm going to go back and redo the first chapter again because I've learned about the listening app that they have. I thought it was a disc, but turns out it's a listening app. So I'm going to reapply the listening app and I'm going to go over everything I've done again to see how well I've learned it, if I can read it better, if it makes more sense. So just for the sake of finishing up this semester, this kind of prototype semester, the proto semester, that's what I'm going to do. So definitely going to work on that one more for sure with the books for the language lesson. I still haven't figured out a good sense of direction for my art yet. I feel like we're getting there, but nothing's cementing in yet. But there is something there, and right now it's still just going to be heads and bodies from reference, as well as random sketchings / doodles, and then also perspective study. And when I say study, I'm not just going to start drawing it. I'm going to actually sit down and start seeing about tutorials and lessons and see if anybody has any suggestions or recommendations or how they do it, because I am terrible at perspective. I don't have the patience or the attention span right now to be sitting down and drawing desks and schoolrooms and bedrooms and things like that. But obviously, it's a very important part of manga and comics. So I'm just going to start studying the perspectives and seeing if there's any cheating ways to get away out of it. I know that there's some. I have done perspective studies before, but nothing like too concrete or great or anything like that. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do there, and I'm going to go back and see what were the goals. So I did not do week assignment, do 1 perspective drawing. Okay, so I just perspective sketches. I'm not going to count those sketches as assignments because they were very lazy. But everything from this week, I can go ahead and probably copy into, well, not next week, but it'll be probably the 10th week. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, overall, if I had to turn all of my assignments in to get graded by like a final or something, I would give myself like a C or a B. Not necessarily by grades of what I've gotten, like grading myself, the numbers I missed, just overall effort. It may be a C or a B. Like, there's definitely no way am I an A on this list right now. In fact, it'll probably be about C. I'm not going to say a B because of the lack of time I've been put into it. Definitely a C. So 8 weeks. I'm going to grade myself a grade as of 8 weeks is a C. So that is not good. But I have accomplished things though. Like, it's not like I've come out here without learning anything. I like the binder idea though. Binder. Binder is good. Need better time management, and I also need to need better goal focus. I am not very good at making goals because I just don't know how. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't know how to make a goal for myself. You know, that's short-term goal. Let's do better goal short-term, because all the short-term goals build up to. Because I know I want to do. I know what my goal is. I want to make mangas. I don't care if it's successful or not. I just want to make mangas, right? But it's not just that simple. So I need to focus on. Need better short-term goal focus. Guidance is huge. Guidance and peer and peers. Those are very important for this kind of thing. I'm doing this by myself and it's been very difficult. When I was doing my study, there was for the art perspective, I did it for an hour, but I started getting tedious. So I really do think, especially when it comes to the art side, well, and with the Japanese language side too, because you need the communication part. But with the guidance part and the peers for the art side, it's very important. You know, when I at my job, because we cycle through young kids, they come in, they work, and then they move on, and then that's it. But some of these young kids, and I say young, like they were my age at one point, and then I just stayed there and they moved on. Is what I'm talking about. But they were fun to banter, talk about when they had interests. Especially same as yours, this one kid. I keep saying he's a kid, but he is not like he's a minor. I'm not trying to say that, but about 5 years younger than me. But he liked Lord of the Rings and Pokemon and Harry Potter, and we could always talk about those kind of things, and we could always talk about creative things like that. And every time for the longest time, we'd have these kids come through, and they would always talk about these different ideas. It was fun to banter and talk about comics and talk about manga and talk about our art and everything, and it was very it was nice. It was creative. We can come up with some creative, fun things. But when you don't have the creative peers, it's very hard to um, expand that creativity. And it's very important for an artist, I think, especially if you want to do expand out to more. It's very important to have those, and I don't have a lot of those anymore. Of course, because art, they always say, is a dead end job, and most of the people who I do know who are artists, I'm going to tell you, they're not were, they are artists, but they just don't have enough time for their art anymore, and it becomes pretty rough to not be able to have those people to talk to. Well, I might make that a whole video because I've already gone past my limit on here. It's too long. So yeah, the next video I'm going to talk about my goals and explain some things. We're going to go over that. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.